Hi fam, welcome to Healthy Hump Day. Today I wanted to give you a little update on healing my adrenals. So I realize a lot of you guys don't follow me on social media, but if you follow my Instagram, you'll be able to see more daily updates, like the movements that I do. I don't include everything, but when I think about it, I like to pop in there and share with you what's going on. Also, if you haven't checked out the free Move Challenge, there's a link below and you can join the Move Challenge community and get some new information and stuff about how I'm doing. And if you need more energy or if you want to restore a deficit or imbalance in your body, that's a great place to start there. For those of you guys that are new to this video, a quick recap. I spent 10 years struggling with energy, weight issues, mood issues, and just feeling like totally pizzazzed to be myself and to be my body. I became a fitness trainer because I really wanted to solve these issues, and I just kind of forced myself to stay healthy. And I also forced myself to stay on a healthy diet, the healthiest diet that I thought I knew. And I struggled for 10 years in so many ways. And this was more specifically related to a particular cause. As a performance athlete, I stopped altogether very abruptly and learned to cook for myself, which I wasn't. It was like hamburger helper and honey bunches of oats all morning. It was just really bad. And I gained so much weight and hired a personal trainer who told me to take over-the-counter performance steroids with tons of caffeine, like a lot of caffeine, thousands and thousands of milligrams of caffeine a day, and also starve myself, mega calorie depletion, and I almost had a heart attack, and that is what caused my adrenals to crash. So if you want to look at more of the story, I'll stick the video links below. It has been 8 months now since I have discovered what has helped me, and that was getting off my vegan diet and incorporating some meat or animal protein. And in 3 months, I was back up and working out regularly again. So it's been absolutely awesome. Since we last talked, I was moving a lot. I was starting to get into stuff that I've wanted to get into, like more vigorous yoga and martial arts. I'm getting out to play on the pickleball courts every single week and just having so much fun, enjoying my energy. But where I'm at today is an actual surplus of energy, a surplus energetic state. Does that even make sense? An energetic surplus state. But what I mean by it is just that, like, I went through 2 nights of only getting 4 hours of sleep. And the first night, it was like, I didn't even feel it. I went out in the heat. It was like 90 degrees outside. We were out there playing pickleball for 2 hours. I was sweating up a storm. Like I was wet from head to toe, dripping sweat. And I felt really awesome doing it. And then last night I had 4 hours of sleep because we stayed up and watched a movie. I regret it every time. And then today I'm a little tired now. But back in the day, 1 night of 4 hours of sleep would wreck me for the rest of the week. Like, it would just absolutely wreck me. And sometimes I couldn't help it. Sometimes it was just my body was so depleted. Like, it wasn't by choice. It just happened. And it would take forever to recoup from that and just feel like I was in a place to just get up and live somewhat normal. But like I said, I was never really ecstatic, or like didn't really feel good to be in my body. So that has been so huge for me. And it's really come down to resting a lot and prioritizing rest and realizing when I do take 2 nights or a night off of full rest, like I will be spending the next 2 weeks really making sure I get more than enough rest so that I'm back in that surplus zone instead of a deficit. The next thing that I realize is different since we last talked is that I eat more normal meals now. I actually eat 3 meals a day, and then I have about 2, sometimes 3 snacks, depending on how much energy I'm using or like how late I end up eating, etc., or like how big my meals are. But when I first started, I was having to eat like every hour around the clock. It was like a job to feed myself to help stabilize my blood sugars. And what I had found in the beginning was that the magic combination was having whole grain, so like whole grain rice or quinoa, wild rice, mixed with lots of veggies, and especially a mixture of greens is really awesome. So like broccoli, kale, and spinach were my go-tos. Sometimes too much kale can be like really hard on my digestive system. And then to have a little bit of meat protein, and that was like 4 to 5 ounces per main meal. What I realize now is egg white protein is like my best friend. So I take the J-Rob's egg white protein about twice a day, and that for some reason just stabilizes my blood sugars the whole time. And that is so awesome because I get to eat less meat. And if you guys are new, I was a vegan prior to this, and it was a really hard transition to make. So to be able to come back to a little bit of normalcy for me, normalcy, has just been really awesome. And it's lightened up the amount that I actually have to eat, because like I said, it felt like a job, meaning like I wasn't really hungry, but I was like forcing myself to eat because I would feel my blood sugars get low. And so incorporating egg white protein has definitely helped a lot more recently. And with that, protein is really what has made the difference in all the world, making sure that I'm getting enough and the specific types, because prior to this, I was literally living on like vegan protein and just trying to eat as many avocados and hummus and greens that I could, like 1 to 2 pounds of greens a day. And I'm not sure it was actually enough. And I don't know if that's because I had been an athlete, and even though I haven't been like moving all this time, there's still so much muscle mass that is like catabolizing or needing to be fed, or if it's that and or having such a deficit that, I mean, you need building blocks of life. You need a lot of protein to be able to actually be in a abundant state rather than a deficient state. So it's something that I would love to do. Like I wish like my diet or like my budget could cover it right now, but I would love, and if you guys are interested in like pulling a campaign together, I would love to get this tested so that I can get to the bottom of what my like live blood test, what is actually going on, like when I'm not eating protein, like what happens when I eat certain types. And now the cool thing is I can actually eat sugary foods. So last time we talked, it was like I was still staying away from that stuff. I was eating more like berries and fresh fruits, but now I can actually like snack on a cookie, or which I'm not saying that I do that, but I've tried when we were at the hotel, they fed us like these little tarts that had like apricots, and it was like cornbread with apricots on top, and you know, they had this syrup drizzled on it, and I had one of the little ones, and I don't get a crash anymore. It definitely still doesn't make me feel good, and I think if you're really sensitive to the way your body feels, then it would probably feel similar, but it doesn't feel horrible. It feels normal, like what it used to feel like, just, you know, sugar high, little dip. And so there isn't much like fear or like crashing that happens after that, and that is so awesome. Like I woke up and I ate an apple first thing this morning, and I just loved every single bite. I miss my fruit. I have yet to have banana still, but I'm pretty sure that I can already. So I also noticed that I can work out almost daily. If you guys have followed me on Instagram, you'll see I'm actually lifting weights. When I first started weight training this year, I would just use dumbbells, and I really wouldn't work with anything more than 50 pounds. Now I'm finally pleased to say that I'm working upwards over 100, 150 pounds, like I'm squatting 160 pounds. I am so stoked about this because I have not lifted anything more than 50 pounds for almost this entire 10 years. And it is amazing to see like how much the body remembers and how quickly it just catches on to carrying this weight and to just actually being challenged and working up a sweat and actually being able to push myself and be sore afterwards without having a whole energy crash, and to be able to treat that soreness with rest without having a mood swing or feeling like awful or just frustrated or agitated after I work out. Like it is so good to feel alive. And if there's anything that I feel super grateful for in this experience, even though it has been like I could cry about thinking how challenging the last 10 years has been, I feel so grateful that I could just live in my body now. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. I feel so grateful that I can move and that I wake up and I feel happy and it feels good to be alive, and it feels so amazing to run, and it feels amazing to be strong and to do a pull-up and to be excited about bouncing around and to want to dive in the pool and to, I just can't explain how amazing it's been. And that is so the reason why I'm so passionate about having shared the Move program with you guys. And I know some of you guys have like heard me and haven't tried it yet, and that's fine. Like, that's why I put together the free 5-minute challenge, so that you can at least start something and get some really good information there. But ultimately also, what I believe can fix a lot of the issues that we have in society when it comes to just straight up happiness and self-confidence and peace and contentedness. Because the biggest thing that I've noticed is that I have significantly better moods. My periods are better. They have been changing. I can tell when the hormones are changing. So something is shifting, because they're usually very on time and consistent, and they've been earlier. And like sometimes 5 days earlier, 6 days, sometimes 2 or 3 days, but they've like been earlier. And I don't know what that means, but it just means that the hormones are shifting, but my moods are so much better. This is the first period that I've had, not to like period talk, but this is the first cycle that I've had not on a vegan diet that I haven't been emotional. So normally on the vegan diet, I'm much calmer and less aggressive. And that's one thing that I always liked about being like plant-based. And fortunately, I don't have to eat like so many animal products, but I do notice that there was a little aggression that would come up with consuming these meats. And what I realized now, this last cycle, is that it's gone. Like, I'm so bubbly and happy and just like stoked for the day. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I used to just wake up and be like, oh, okay, let's get up, body, let's do this. And I would have to find my inspiration. I would have to create that inspiration to move forward. And now it's like I just wake up and I'm totally inspired. Like, I'm just like, yeah, the sun's out, let's go to the pool. What are we gonna do today? And it just like feels like a world of possibility, rather than like, how are we gonna get through? Like, what do we need to do to cope? And so anyways, that's kind of where I'm at now. Probably the last thing I would say is I don't feel like this is still 100%, because I noticed that when I do high intensity interval training that requires a lot of high cardio, so like cardio levels that take my heart rate like really high. When I used to measure my cardio levels used to be like close to 200 at the highest. I don't know what they are now because I don't work with a heart rate monitor, but definitely in the cardio zone, not fat burning, not resting, but like, you know, when your heart's pumping, you're doing it really hard. I feel like my blood sugars tank pretty quickly still. And that could be that I'm still working on somewhat of a deficit, or not getting enough of whatever it is I need in my food to support that, or like be that, and or my ATP cycles are just not very efficient still. But it's okay. You know, we talk a lot about focusing on balancing and restoring, and like really working your threshold and then coming back to balance and restore. And I just repeat this cycle over and over again, and it just continues to improve. I can do more, I can lift more, I can work out harder and longer. I have better energy and moods throughout the day. I can handle more stress like on my body, and just situationally, mentally, emotionally. And it has just been like a dream come true, like a whole world change. I don't even know how to explain it, other than if your body's not happy, you're likely gonna have a hard time being happy or completely at your max happiness level. And that's what I experienced. And just reflecting on it, I realized, like, I remember the day that after a year after my adrenals crashed, after I almost had that heart attack, I got my periods back. So I didn't have a menstrual cycle that whole time. And when I got my period back, I was crying for no reason. And I had a Ben & Jerry's ice cream in my hand, and my roommate was like, "Are you okay?" And when I was explaining to her what I was feeling, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this sounds like PMS. I've never experienced this before, but this is horrible." What I realized is that it was like PMS over amplified. It was like depression and anxiety that was like sparked by PMS. And I didn't realize that that would be like the day that I would experience that every month for the next 10 years. And it is just crazy that it's gone now. Like, it's just gone. And so I realized, like, all my struggle, all my strife was amplified because of inconsistent hormone levels. And we talk about it all the time, chemistry in the brain. Like, people, they talk about like the chemicals are off, right? And so there's clinical depression, and there's like an imbalance of chemistry. And when your body's out of balance, then the chemistry gets off. So I always tell people, if you are having a hard time feeling happy, if you're having a hard time being depressed and anxious, and you're not doing these things, you're not moving, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, then it's more likely an imbalance in the body than it has to do with you being the problem. I hope that makes sense, but I felt for such a long time that something must be wrong with me, like me as a person, my identity. And the reason this all shifted was because 2 years ago, I thought, what if it's not me? What if the system's messed up? I started to question what I was doing because I thought I was doing all the right things. I was trying to do everything perfectly, and I didn't realize that there was still something missing. And that's when I worked so hard taking tests and talking to different doctors, and I spent a lot of money looking for these answers. So don't just go to one doctor and have the doctor tell you, it's nothing. Go to specialized doctors, take the tests, build an understanding and education for yourself so you can find the solution to whatever problem your body's facing. So I hope that this content at least helps you troubleshoot and start to establish a lifestyle that supports a healthier well-being. And that is why I share this story with you. So I thank you guys for being here, and I hope you find value in hearing what I have to say and hearing my experience. And I hope you come join me on Instagram or just wherever. Like, let's start a conversation if you're feeling like you need this, because I'm so passionate about sharing this with you guys and helping you guys get those tools so that you can really, really create a life worth living, because it is worth it, and it's worth being around people and like connecting and creating a world like that for ourselves. Otherwise it just sucks, you know? So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing this journey with me and just being open and candid and honest. And I'm gonna shut up now because this video is taking so long. But I will see you guys back here for Freedom Friday. I love you guys so much. Remember, be good, be great. Most of all, be grateful. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for this, where I'm at right now. And yeah, if you have any questions or comments, leave it down below. Love you guys. Bye.